Hey guys, so it has been a long time since I have done an update on this channel. And you're gonna have to excuse my eyes because it's really hard to not look at the screen because I'm filming on my phone instead of my normal camera. So sorry if I keep looking a different way. So I do updates, it's just I usually do them during when I film vlogs, but we don't really vlog that much anymore. And so I just thought it was time to do an update. So if you are on our Instagram or Facebook, then you already saw that I am in Oklahoma because my grandmother was in an accident and she passed away unexpectedly, which is really sad. And I'm by myself. I'm not by myself, all my family's here, but I'm by myself in terms of Kyle and the kids because school just started and it's virtual. And you know, I have a 5th grader, a 4th grader, and a 1st grader, plus a 3-year-old. And it's really difficult we're just learning how to do this virtual school thing. My grandma passed away on Tuesday. It's been 1 week and she passed away on Tuesday. We started virtual school Wednesday, the day after. So Wednesday and Thursday, I was trying to kind of figure out the ropes of that a little bit. And then I left Friday, so Kyle's doing it. So now Monday, today's Monday, tomorrow is Tuesday is the funeral, and then we're coming home. I'm coming home. I drove with my dad drove. And so Kyle's trying to do all 3 kids' school, and then Elizabeth went to Vanessa's, my in-laws' house, and I'm so glad that, like, because I was like, I could not stand the thought of Kyle having to do work and virtual school and the kids, like, and Elizabeth, like a 3-year-old. Like, it's hard enough when I'm trying to juggle all of that and I'm not also working. So the timing, it just wasn't a good time. It didn't make sense. Like, if the kids were in normal school or if they'd been doing the virtual school for a while and we kind of had a routine down, I would have felt more comfortable asking my in-laws if they could maybe help the kids so Kyle could come. Or, you know, if it hadn't just started, I would have felt okay pulling the kids so that they could come too. But then in addition to all of that, you know, we've got this awful virus, COVID thing going on, and just don't want to travel. We don't want to travel with the kids, and it just, you know, this is just what was working out the best. So that's what we're here for. And I don't want to get into it too much because I don't want to cry, but it's just hard because, so you know how people keep making jokes about how like 2020 is like the worst year. And you know, I'm always like, haha, yeah, it sure is, right? Like what a crummy year. You know, like I agree, like in a joking way. But like, I'm seriously thinking that this really, truly might be just an awful year because it just feels like things happen, they're like really extreme. So just like, you know, my grandmother, she's old, she's 85. And she has cancer, more than one kind of cancer. She has leukemia. She just got diagnosed with a skin cancer on her scalp that they did not think they were going to be able to treat. And she's got other ailments as well. She's got all these things, and none of those killed her. Like, none of those are how she passed away. She passed away in a really crummy accident, just a misstep right off of a porch. And they had to call Life Flight, and it was just a big old mess. And it's just a 2020 way is what it is. And then we just found out literally a week and a half ago that Jack, our dog, who he'll be 14 years old in December, but we found out that he has cancer, and we paid money to just go talk to a specialist. Our vet sent us to a special surgeon And then that guy was a really nice vet, but he checked out Jack and he said it was too big and in such a bad spot, and that he said he couldn't do it. He said he couldn't remove it. And that even if it was just too much, and it has at his age, and it was in a really bad spot. But the thing is that he got all the places. He has cancer in his, I'm just gonna say it, his butt. So we were like, really? He has ASS cancer? Like, I was like, you have to laugh so you don't cry. But I was like, if that is not the most 2020 like thing, again, like he has that kind of cancer. So we don't know how long Jack has. It could be days or weeks, but we had just found that out too. So it's just like really crummy. So that's the sad stuff. But in addition with this channel, so we, you know, I've been, so I know, you know, you guys noticed that we changed the name, and I addressed this in a day in the life vlog, but I know a lot of people don't always see that. But so, oh my goodness, years ago, I think when Audrey was a baby, or maybe one at the oldest, pretty sure it was when she was still a baby, we were like, we're not going to daily vlog because it is too much. It's too much of our kids out there. It's too much. There's already a lot of that, right? Just not our vibe. So we cut back, but we were still doing more than we wanted to. So then we cut back some more. And then 3 years ago, right when we were, or I guess about, I don't remember. Yeah, around 3 years ago, 2.5, something like that. We did a vlog, and I talked about how we weren't going to, we were going to cut back a lot. And, you know, that's kind of why I started a Disney Channel. So I had another thing to focus on. And it's just not, we are not YouTubers. And I know our channel has a decent size, and I have the nicest people that I have met on here. And I really like that. And I really like to make videos. If you don't know this about me, I'm a film major. Before I had kids, I worked in the film industry. I've lived in New York. I've worked on movies, and I've traveled. I mean, I've done crazy things like filming with SWAT teams, and like, I mean, it was a super fun part of my life. And when I had kids, it just did not line up with the way I wanted to parent. So I stopped doing a lot of that. And like YouTube was a way for me to still kind of feel like, in the loosest sense of the term, I was kind of still doing something related, even though it's very not even close to as hard. Like, you know, it's funny when I'm editing, I'm like, the editing people do on YouTube is so basic compared to like how I would edit for a film. I don't do fancy editing for YouTube. So I'm always like, I hope no one ever thinks like this is as good as you know, and I know that sounds pretentious, but it's just not. But that being said, it still gave me an outlet that I really enjoy. And I truly appreciate the growth our channel has. But with that being said, we don't think of ourselves as YouTubers. This is not something we do for money. We don't need the money. We definitely don't need any of the drama. We've managed to have very, 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 very little drama the way some channels do. And it's because I think I just don't do a lot. And I also don't pay attention. And the other thing I used to say, I used to joke that I was really bad at social media. I was like, oh, I'm bad at Facebook. I'm bad at Instagram. And then I finally realized I'm not bad at it. I just don't care. Things like Facebook and Instagram are not, and have not really ever been, a priority for me. They're just not. And I have friends who live on Instagram, and I have friends who are fantastic parents and they can still do lots of Instagram. I don't feel, I don't like to carry my phone everywhere. I don't like to be on Instagram all the time. I rarely use Facebook. It's mostly just an auto repost from Instagram. It is just not what I want my life to be, like, revolve around. And it's not how I like to live my life, and it's not how Kyle likes to live his life. So I realized, like, I'm not bad at it. I just don't care. It is not a priority for me. And I was like, I'm gonna let it go, because I used to always be like, oh my gosh, I need to do better. I need to post more. And I would see some of my fellow YouTube mom friends, and they would just have these beautiful feeds, and like, they're really good at it. And I just realized, I was like, I don't care. I don't care. If I cared, I would be better at it. I don't care. It's not a priority for me. So back to what I was saying, you know, 2.5, 3 years ago, I made a video, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna do this Disney Channel. And I was like, we just really don't want to do a lot of the same kind of, like, just our families, like, every moment. Like, our kids don't need to be on the internet all the time. Like, that's just not, it's just, and as they've gotten older, it's become more and more of a thing for me, where I'm like, I don't like that. And so that's why we used to be like Go Team Hale, and we changed it to Go Team Fam, because I wanted it to be more generic. And then that's still not generic enough, because I just feel like people still expect it to be that kind of a channel. And we haven't been that kind of a channel in a really long time. And I just almost feel like it's false advertising. And so that's why I changed it. I changed it to be something that was more me. That was like, if I'm gonna do channel stuff, it's going to be mom focused, not like on my family. They'll be like more of like the background. And so that's why. So that was a really long story, but that's kind of where we're going. And I've said this when I already did this update in a vlog, but I don't mean any offense. I have friends on here who are fantastic parents, and they vlog all the time, and I still think they're fantastic parents. And they're also on Instagram all the time, and it does not make them not good parents. It's just, again, their priorities are different than mine. And it's no knock on them, has nothing to do with them. I don't give a crap what they're doing. It doesn't even, like, there's, not only is there no judgment, I don't even think about it. You know what I mean? It's just not, again, what we want. So yeah, so that's kind of what that is. And then I think that, you know, more recently, especially, just like, oh my gosh, just some of the stuff that people put with their kids. I'm gonna give you guys a good example of what we don't do, and what we just, when Sophie broke her arm, I didn't film. I mean, of course I didn't, but people do. I didn't film any of her when she was hurt and she came in. I didn't film anything at all until she'd already been taken care of, and she was like, oh, let's share this. And, you know, in the world of YouTube, people would see that as really good footage, and it's just not, no, it's just not. And it's the same, like, this is another example along with a broken bone. I'm just thinking of like dramatic moments that people film that we would never film. And that was like Elizabeth, when she broke her arm, I was filming that day. Like, I was doing day in the life stuff that day. I did not film any of that. I didn't film any of it. I didn't share anything about it. I didn't do anything until we'd already taken care of it and everything was okay. And then I just shared, you know, a little bit of, and told the story of what happened. So that is an example of like the way that I run the channel. And, you know, if something's frustrating me with the children, I will discuss it in generalized terms and not call a child out. And, you know, I don't know. I just, like I said, as we've gotten older, I just want there to be a lot less than, you know, we've been for years cutting back. You just have to be, it's our lives. It's no one else's lives. It's our lives, it's their lives. And so it's just, you know, I think that there is value in sharing moments from a family's life. I think that that's something that can touch people or help people or make people feel like they're not alone. And I really like that part of it. I just don't think for us being more than just sharing moments versus sharing a lot, it's just not us. So I'm not anti-YouTube. I'm not anti, you know, sharing some moments with you all. or sharing moments with the kids. I just don't think it should be that much. So that really, with the name thing, it was like it needed to be focused back on something that was more me. So if I'm gonna keep this channel, which we've talked about all the time, about just not even doing this channel at all, like not even doing it, because sometimes my heart's just not in it. And so, but then on other times I really like it. And I also used to do a lot of other content that I kind of stopped doing, like recipes and crafting and planning and cleaning and all of that type of thing. I did it a long time ago. I didn't do it, heck, I did videos like that and they weren't even popular. So it wasn't like because it was like, you know, I just like to share stuff like that. But then slowly I started to just not, because, you know, it's hard when you have a lot of people who are like, we really like these videos, and you're kind of like, well, okay, we'll do those videos. But then you just realize one day that like you're doing those videos for people that like, and it's not what you want, and it's not what you want for your family. And that's why even on the vlogs we do have, most of my vlogs are like, I swear to you guys, 80%, unless it's like a birthday video, it's like 80% me, the whole vlog. And that's why, it's because it's like my channel. It's like me as a mom just being like, hey, yo, like, this is what's going on today. Like, hey, fellow parents, let's talk about this. And then like, you know, the kids like make a guest appearance. Like that's kind of how they've been for a long time. So it's really not anything that different. It's just, I think I felt the need to make it more obvious. Like I said, I felt almost like vaguely like it was false advertising. Like I was like, people, I don't want them thinking this is what this channel is when it's not. So there, that was like a really long 20-minute story about that. But I'm gonna try to not let myself edit out most of that. I tend to edit out a lot, but I think like I'm gonna try not to. I keep getting text messages from my sister. We're trying to figure out what hymn or song we wanna sing for my grandma's funeral tomorrow. So then in addition to that, we have all this hurricane stuff going on. And like y'all know, I love storms so much. So I love, like, that is what I like to put on. You know, if I'm not making videos for what everybody else wants, if I make the kind of videos that I like to make weather vlogs. Weather to me is fascinating and it's amazing, and I think it's so cool. And I think it's crazy how the weather that we have seems so extreme to people in other parts of the country and the world. Not just like the world, but like even in our own country, there are people who are like, oh my gosh, we never get weather like that. So I think it's so cool to share that. And anyway, I'm really passionate about weather. I'm like just a really big weather geek. But anyway, so normally I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I'd have that like adrenaline rush as I'm like watching the hurricanes. But I just obviously like haven't been able to like, you know, haven't really looked into that. So with this hurricane situation, it has been a roller coaster. So like if you've lived under a rock right now and you don't know what's going on, there's like 2 hurricanes. There was 2 hurricanes, like Marco's not a hurricane anymore. Anyway, there's like these 2, like it's a tropical storm. So there's this one, it's like so complicated. So there was like this like hurricane out in the Atlantic, or this storm. They were like, okay, it's gonna maybe turn into Tropical Storm Laura. Okay. And then they were just like, you know, watching it, and they were like, okay, it's probably gonna just like come up by Florida, whatever, not even paying that much attention. And then this other thing developed, and they were like, all right, here's this other thing. If it becomes a tropical storm, it'll be Tropical Storm like Marco, and it's gonna form in the Gulf. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. And you're like, okay. And then the Marco one started like gaining speed. And so there was a chance it was gonna turn into a tropical storm before the first other storm. So then at that point, it would have been like this one that they said might become Marco. It would become Laura, and this one would do whatever. But then this one picked up speed again and became a tropical storm first. So it's stuck with Laura. And then this one over here, they're like, okay, it's definitely gonna do something, it's Marco. And so then at this point, they thought Laura was going to go up on the west side of Florida and kind of go right up there in the United States. So Laura, like we weren't worried about Laura at all. And then at this moment, they were like, Marco, oh my gosh, it's gonna come right to Houston. It just right through Houston. And so you take that with a grain of salt, because usually the spaghetti models always initially show that these storms are going to plow into Houston, and most of the time they turn one way or the other. So anyway, but we were like, okay, we're watching Marco. Marco's crazy. You know, they thought Marco was going to be the bad storm, right? It was going to be the bigger storm. So then this is happening. So like then Marco officially becomes Marco. They don't name them until they become tropical storm level wind. So before that, they're called like a number with a letter. I don't even know. And so I'm not going to get into it here. I'm not going to get into like the weather geeky technical stuff. But anyway, so we had these two things happening. So then you start seeing on the news and they're like 2 of these storms in the Gulf at once, and they could both, we could have hurricanes hitting the US like 2 at a time right in the same area. And oh, it's just mayhem. So we're all like, whoa, like what's going on? And then meanwhile, while this is happening, my grandma has the accident and school starts, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, and then, you know, Jack, I'm just like looking at my little dog and just like, I don't want him to suffer, and we're going through all of that. And so it's just like craziness. But then, you know, Marco, which is what they were really worried about, it starts to kind of go like this way. And so they're like, okay, now Marco's gonna, they're like, and it also started to like kind of peter out. That's a turn of phrase from a different part of the world. It just means like kind of dissipate. Like it's not dissipating. I mean, it's still not great, but it's just like, it really mellowed out. It wasn't nearly as strong. So they were like, okay, it's gonna hit the United States, but it's gonna slow down and not hit it as a hurricane. It's gonna hit it as a tropical storm, because I think it reached up to hurricane speeds, but then it dropped back down, and it had moved over to the east. So it wasn't gonna hit Houston. So that one's moving to the east, right? And here's Laura. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh snap, Laura, instead of doing this and going up by Florida like she was going to, instead she's like, I'm gonna go this way. And so then they were like, okay, Laura's heading right towards, guess what was in the middle of the cone? Houston. And I was like, oh, so now we're worried about Laura? And like, we're not worried about Marco? I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be worrying about anymore. And then there was a period of time where both Laura and Marco were both gonna hit Houston. They were like, they're gonna both hit Houston. And then people were like, oh, if the storms combine, is there gonna be a mega storm? And then they had to explain that no, it would actually cause them to weaken. And I don't know, whatever. But then Marco kept going this way, so they were like, okay, Marco's not gonna hit Houston. So basically, here goes Marco, it hit the United States, and then Laura decided to cross this way. So now Laura's coming up. At this point, it's Monday, and Laura she's down here, you know, like by Cuba. I don't even remember where she's at. She's already killed some people. It's not good. It's very sad. And so she's coming up, and she's gaining speed. They're like, this sucker could hit the U.S. as a Hurricane Cat 2. They said there's even a possibility she could hit as a Cat 3, Category 3, which would be awful. And she's shifted to the east a little bit, but Houston's kind of on the edge of the cone. So they were like, we gotta watch though, we don't know. Because let me just tell you guys, these storms change paths all the time. You don't even know where the heck they're gonna hit until hours before they hit. They just move around a lot, and it's really hard to plan for them. So you just have to be ready no matter what. So that's what we're watching right now. We don't know exactly what Laura's gonna do. Right now, at this moment, it looks like Laura's gonna dump a bunch of rain on Houston, but it's gonna keep moving, so it's not gonna be like sustained. Like when Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, it was so bad because the storm stalled on top of Houston, and it just swirled and just stayed right on top of us. So we had tornadoes and rain and lightning and thunder, and it just didn't stop for days. And it was crazy, but Laura's not going to do that. So, one, we're going to be getting the side of her right now, we're getting the side of her. So, you know, and it's going to just be, I don't know, but for the rest, like the people who are kind of going to be in the main path, like they need to worry, they need to be really careful. But anyway, so that's what's going on with Laura, which is basically, we don't know for sure. My area of Texas, we are in a tropical storm watch. That is what we are under right now. Tropical storm watch, not a warning, just a watch. So, okay. But meanwhile, Marco, which came in in around Louisiana and didn't hit us, it's curving back. So here came Marco, it hit Louisiana at the bottom of the United States, it hit it, but then guess what it's doing? It's going yoink and coming right through Houston. Like, What? But it's coming through Houston. It's just heavy rains and not like really flooding rains. We're talking like a couple of inches. So it's not a big deal. Like, we get thunderstorms that will probably be worse than this, but we are going to get some rain. We do still need to be really careful. A lot of times when you have these like tropical storm or hurricanes or whatever come through, they do produce more tornadoes and things like that. And they can produce flash flooding. You have to be careful, but I'm not that worried. It's not like we need to be terrified situation at all. However, it's going to be doing that tomorrow, and we're trying to come home tomorrow after the funeral. So if it's raining a whole bunch as we're trying to come home through Texas, my dad and I are just going to stop and stay somewhere for the night, because it is about an 8-hour drive, and that's with no stops from where we're at in Oklahoma back to home. So that's what's going on. That is my really long update. If you stayed and watched this whole update video, bless you. Thank you guys for listening to my really long update. I hope y'all are doing okay. There are no kids in this video, but YouTube is so very, very hypocritical and will probably still turn the comments off. I hope they don't, so that we can chat. But I've been thinking a lot about everybody out there and hoping y'all are doing okay. I know some people went back to school in like person, face to face, and some people are doing virtual or whatever, and it's just, you know, it's a lot for everybody. We won't be back. We're teaching our kids, we're doing our kids virtually for at least the first 9 weeks, and then we'll see how it goes. We're just trying to do, since I'm very fortunate that I'm, you know, it might drive me nuts. It might be a lot of work. It might be a lot of pressure, but I am in a position where I can be with my children at home, and I may never get to sit down for like 8 hours in the day because I'll be running around like a crazy person, but I can do that. Whereas some people, some of my friends and some people I know, like, they have to go back to work. They have to go to work. So by me keeping my children at home, it helps to keep the schools less crowded, which will help, you know, with the transmission rate and help them be able to social distance more. So it's basically like we're all just trying to help each other. You know, they're going back to work, which helps me. I'm going to keep my kids home, which hopefully can help them. We all just like are doing that kind of thing, you know. So yeah, our school districts, they're trying to get the kids, but they're doing, our school district opened up virtually, period, but they're trying to get the kids who would want to get back into physical school, they're trying to get them back in 3 weeks. But like I said, our kids will not be. They're going to stay out for at least 9 weeks. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I just wanted y'all to know I'm thinking about you guys. And when I say you guys, I just mean everybody in the entire world. I think a lot. I think a lot about everybody out there. And I just hope everybody's hanging in there. And I know that this is just a real crap year in a lot of ways. And, you know, but there's always good stuff too. Like, I really, really believe that. There's always something really good too. So, you know, it's just how it is. This is just how things are sometimes. And that's okay. You know, you just gotta have one foot in front of the other, and you just know that you're in a down, but there's gonna be an up. There always is an up, always. So just remember that if you're feeling any kind of way. So thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope that you have a really good week. And I do have some vlogs that I filmed about getting ready for back to school, and I have Elizabeth's birthday video I'd like to put up. She just turned 3. I haven't even put anything on Instagram or anything because of everything that was going on. But she just turned 3 and we had her party, and so I want to share that. So you'll see those videos go up, and obviously they're out of order because those videos are from before all of this just went down. But I'm going to put those up, but at least I'm going to do this one first, so you guys will, you know, you'll kind of know watching those videos that some of the stuff hasn't gone down yet, which is, you know, kind of weird, but that's that. So thank you guys again for listening. I know I've lost all my lighting. My eyes went from bright blue when the sun's out to like I don't know, navy blue now. But anyway, okay, so thanks for listening to me ramble. I hope you're doing okay. Leave me a comment if you're able to. I'm over on Instagram. I may not update a lot, but I do like it. I like Instagram. I'm just not gonna update all the time, but I do really like it. So you can find me over there if you can't comment here, or even if you can, whatever. It's over there. The links are always down below. So thank you guys so much for watching. You know what would be really awesome if you can comment? If you have a YouTube channel and you're doing whatever you're doing, whether you're doing day in the lifestyle vlogs, or you're doing crafting vlogs, or you're doing cooking vlogs, leave your channel link down below so I can check you out. I would really like that a lot. Like I said, I really do like YouTube. You know, I like it. I think that there's a lot of good there. And I kind of just want to be part of the good of YouTube and not part of the bad, you know? So share with me, and maybe other people will see it too. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to everyone in the next update. Bye.